Ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble!
Is this thing on? Hello. Hey. It's Mooncast time, and I am sleep deprived, and I am going to run through this as quickly as I can. So it's been a few weeks. It's been a few weeks. Let's go through some of this great stuff. I apologize if I look a little bit tired. I think the last time I slept was in April, but yeah, we have a really fantastic show for you guys. Let me channel Manuel and make sure that you are going to punch that bell for us. We need you to like, we need you to subscribe, we need you to share, and do what you can to spend time in our Discord and invite your friends. And let me see, where it is that Discord. I can't find it. Where'd the thing go? Somebody do the thing. Oh, there it is. The Discord is super easy. It's just Mooncast. So invite your friends, get your family involved. And what I would like to do is also tell you guys a little bit about what Mooncast is. Mooncast is a great game that we're developing. Not everybody knows, so if you send them this way, I want them to find out about Mooncast the right way. And it's an MMO. It's a medieval themed MMO with a really dark history, and it's not what you're expecting. It has technology so advanced that it's indistinguishable from magic. There are cloning chambers, fusion-powered pleasure domes controlled by AI, and medieval weapons. What could go wrong? So if you get a chance, we'd also love for you to check out our website. It's super straightforward, mooncast.productions. And it's, I think, pretty amazing. There's a lot of good new stuff in there that I'm pretty sure you'll be excited about if you go and take a look. There are 2 milestones behind us already. And of those 2 milestones that are behind us already, the kinds of things that we've already accomplished is just astonishing. And we have character animation that looks phenomenal. We have a lot of tech involved in motion matching. We have first pass at all of that stuff. We're not going to overly invest in things that we have working. We're going to come back and make them better. But we've got an attack combo system, and we have blockchain that, as of the last milestone, was just barely at the point where it was working. And I think we've built out a ridiculous amount of server code. We have networking on the client, and we had started concepting some art styles and figured out our character proportions and built our first character. We have an IP with a backstory that goes back about 1,100 years. And we have a narrative that has started, and there's a lot of interesting wiki pages that hopefully don't leak out too quickly. And we have some core game designs that I think are going to carry the game a very long way. And we launched a demo, fully playable, and put it up on our website after only 3 months. So the timeline check for these last 2 milestones, from then until now, we started on May 16th, and today it's October 4th. So in under 5 months, this is what we've done. And let me bring you guys up to date with who the team is. So I'm Jason Hughes, and I've been in the games industry since 1995. Do the math. That's almost 30 years. It's ridiculous how old I am and how long I've been doing this. And of the cool things, I've asked everybody to kind of like share a little something fun about what you've done. I'm going to share first. It's pretty crazy to think that one of my suggestions became the way that water worked on the GameCube. The hardware was actually modified and added based off of one of my suggestions. And that's the reason why the Wii looked so interesting, because they didn't change the hardware between GameCube and Wii, really. Let me Let me bring on some of the other guys that are on the team. Let's start with Catherine. I can't hear you.
Of course. First person on, you still mighted. Hi, I'm Catherine. I'm the person behind the cat box. I'm a budding designer on the team, and I'm still in college for game design, if you couldn't guess. I'm not without experience, though. I've been on a couple of teams interning, including with Miranda's. And I've dabbled in the tabletop space as well, and if you give me a chance, I'll throw some dice at you.
Very cool. Let me bring on Jonah. Here you are, Jonah.
Hi all. I just graduated from Full Sail, where it's a bit of a weird school. It's got kind of a 2-year, year-round kind of experience. And I was there on a full ride after, let's see, I've been programming for, gosh, I don't even know how many years at this point, but I think around 7. Just kind of picked it up early and have just been obsessed ever since. And so just had a lot of fun getting make projects there. And now I'm getting to do some of the rendering work here on this as well. So just glad to get to be here working on this.
Very cool. Glorimar, I'm going to bring you up next. You ready? Here we go.
Hey, I'm Glorimar. I work on previous Miranda's, and before that I worked for Line Studios doing mobile gaming. I are director the game called Ink Ink. If you want to check it out. Yeah, excited to be again with the guys working on great things. Yeah, thank you.
Awesome. All right, Maxie, you're up.
Hey guys, I'm an animator. I've been working professional since 2014. In between there, I did college as well. Started working in mostly commercials and things of that nature, more of a generalist type of work. And then my first gig in games was Call of Duty World War II. And since then, I worked on many other games, Last of Us, Crash Bandicoot, and then outside of gaming, I also animated on some more episodic type of thing, like some Pokemon shows, Elf on the Shelf, things like that kind of stuff, more acting driven. And I just love everything, anything artistic. I like to know how everything works behind the scenes as well. And yeah, I'm just passionate about this industry and working with talented people. Yeah.
We have so many people on today, so I'm going to have to add a little bit more space. How about Angel? Did I mute you? Here we go.
I muted myself. Yeah. Hi guys. So I'm Angel. I've been working in the games industry for, I lost track. Not as long as Jason though. I think he takes the cake. But when I got my start, I think Facebook gaming was all the rage. And then that was right around the advent of the iPhone. So then we quickly, switched gears and started using Unity. And I've been a Unity dev since. I think my highest profile project that we launched and did fairly well was a Flappy Bird clone for an Australian boy band called the Janoskians. And they flew all the way here to the United States to see us working on it and for the launch and everything. And, their fan base ate it up. But then, like all Flappy Bird clones, it just kind of got forgotten about a month later. Soon after that, I felt like my career was taking off because I landed like a personal meeting with Adam Sandler and a couple of other friends. We were pitching a Happy Gilmore game to him, and he promptly rejected it because he hated it. And so I was like, well, hey, at least I got to see his house. And then, it's, kind of on and off VR projects, mobile games, and, until I got to the point where I was accepted onto the Miranda's team, and just been sticking with that dream team ever since, and that's what brought me here. So looking forward to pouring all that experience into this project.
Awesome. Glad to have you on. And last but not least, Eric Tuvey.
Hey guys. Yeah, so I'm Eric. I've been an AI systems engineer, architect for a long time. I've been in games for 25 years, so right in between Angel and Jason. Good God, that's a long time. I got my start working on Thief 3 and Warhammer Online and Force Unleashed 2 were some pretty awesome titles that I worked on. And then I made it to the MMO space. I worked with Garriott. I've worked on Crowfall and coming off Mirandus. I think one of the interesting things is that in the middle of all that, I found time to start up a restaurant with my wife. So we built out a restaurant and operated for a few years while I was still working in games. It was crazy times. So that's about it. I'm working on blockchain stuff right now, so I'll be talking a little bit more about that later.
That's awesome. So this is the dream team, guys. And like most of them said, virtually all of these guys have also helped out on Mirandus, but done a tremendous amount of games outside of the blockchain space. So I think there's this synergy of understanding like how to make a good game and also how to make it work on blockchain. And I think it's important for us to like recognize that this is an evolving space, and I'm not going to talk too much about that. Let's move on to some of the great stuff that we've already accomplished. And this is my significant other and lovely lady, Stacy, has done a huge amount of work to try and. We are on Amazon. If you haven't checked it out, there's several designs available on Amazon. There's actually more here on Etsy. If you take a look, we've got Bodhi stickers and all sorts of other really nice looking designs. Stacy's worked really hard on making these as thematic and attractive as possible. Hey all, this is the website for the time being. It's actually pretty difficult to build a big thematic website while also making a game, but I'm reasonably happy with how this is turning out. So there's a lot going on in here, and if you dig around, you'll find that there's a decent amount of lore and backstory that's already here, and you know, even silly things like the terms of use. Like that's not usually the kind of thing that you'd get excited about, but there are privacy policy stuff in here. It's funny. I think it's pretty good. So if you feel like digging around, there's certainly cool stuff in here. If you're not interested in that, just go to the big play button and download the current version of the game. That's where it is. And there's other things that Stacy worked on too. You'll see it. Oh yeah, cool merch. If you guys get a chance, go dig around in there. There's some really nice designs. So when you actually launch the game, you're going to see for the first time NFT badge art. That was also Stacy's doing. She's actually out right now hanging some of her physical art. She's a physical artist. She's hanging some in a gallery today. So I wish her luck. She'll sell that hopefully, and then we'll be able to make rent. The other thing that I've been working on the past couple of months, it's been actually 7 weeks, is building out the account management system with a new login system. So now you have the ability to create a username password, but you can also use the one-click login with Google button, and there's also a one-click login with Discord button. That'll make things a lot simpler. And I'm hoping that is a more convenient method for most people. Eventually, we're going to try and get the game on Steam. And when we do that, weird. Okay. Ideally, what we should get is a Steam login, and then we'll figure out ways to bind those things together. But for now, what we have is a pretty reasonable system, and it looks better. So the other thing I've also done is improve the client installer. It was super confusing before, and basically you double click it and it would just do something and it would disappear. So now this is not the most exciting video, but I'll show you what the installer looks like now. All right, we have a new installer. The old one didn't quite work as well as we wanted to. This one actually is much better. It make sure that any previous installs are gone. And this one actually has nice themed windows with art in it. And also lets you pick whether you're going to put it on the C drive or the D drive or whatever. But in general, it just works better. And we hope you're happy with it. It's an improvement. So yeah, little things like that. It's hard to get super excited about, but if it isn't done, people hate it. So those are the things we do first, because it's eating your vegetables. And when you eat your vegetables, you get the enjoyable dessert at the end, right? So here's more vegetables. And that's my MO. I always do the vegetables. Other people get to do the fun stuff. But here's what I did about a month ago is I started talking to this other team called Deep, which is a team that's also part of GG Collective, or I think they are. I'm not sure. Anyway, so the Deep Network is this distributed physical device, and they're just at the point where they're starting to ship out. And I'm number 2, I think, on the list of getting a physical device. So as soon as they show up, I'm going to start playing around with these things. But in order for us to actually make use of something like that, I had to re-architect the client, or not the client exclusively, but the client and the server, so that we run a cluster. And instead of us running a whole full complement of all the servers ourselves, we run the cluster, which is the brain. And that's where all the blockchain stuff happens always. And then we actually can run zones across the world, and the zones are actually running the gameplay. And whenever you need to do something blockchain, you talk to our cluster. So it's completely trusted. It turns out that the more that I learned about Deep, the less I'm concerned about the zones not being trustworthy. But it still means that we have the ability to run a hybrid system where we run some nodes and then other people can run nodes. We're not at the point of selling nodes or anything like that. But I do want to make it so that we can run these things in the cheapest possible way, or the fastest possible way, or the best possible way. And that means we don't have to run them all inside of one centralized data center. That's maybe more expensive than we need it to be. So by splitting out the client and the server, or the cluster and the zone, the client actually has to make connections to 2 places at once. So it's a decent amount of tech. But it's all working and it's all running. And I think it's pretty fascinating that the architecture that I built means the way that the zones work is that they're actually sitting there waiting for someone to want to play in that zone. And then as soon as someone says, hey, I want to play in that zone, within less than 300 milliseconds, the zone is up and running and you're there. So transferring between zones is actually phenomenally fast. And I think that will also prevent a lot of the issues that I've seen in previous projects. So I'm pretty excited about that. Let's see. Also, along the way with building the vegetables part of this is nobody loves to make user interface. UI is the worst. That's the thing. You take the junior dev and you make them go and just make the horrible programmer art UI. And so I had to go do that because we don't have any guys who want to sit around and do that. We've got people doing important things. So I built a UI. And so when you're playing the game, you hit I and it pulls up your inventory. And now we have a way to actually visualize what is in your inventory. And then you can actually equip things too. And I don't know how far I go with this video, but I'll show you what it looks like. Here we are with the first pass of the inventory system. We have a default head, the axe of compliance, and the short sword of justice. And if I sort them alphabetically, get that, categorically is that, and because the weights are all the same, it's pretty much the same there. So there's a selection mode that later on we'll use, but for now, I don't know that it's supposed to be on, but yeah, you should be able to multi-select various things just by clicking on them in selection mode. When you're not in selection mode, clicking on them, I think, will take you to the equipment that is of that slot or type or whatever. But you can disable whole categories if you don't want to look at them. Okay, so now that we have an inventory screen, figured we needed to be able to see details about the inventory. So there is now a little pop-up here that goes component by component and prints out any information that's available. And there isn't a whole lot on these objects, but later this will go from being more debug looking and be more art. So that's not pretty. That's why you let engineers write the first pass and you don't normally show anybody what that crap looks like until you've had an artist take a swing at it. But we don't have a whole lot of artists and they're doing more important things. So yeah, that's programmer art for you. But we do have inventory. It's tracked on the server. It's being communicated to the client, and all of it is server authoritative. So you don't do things on the client that could screw up the server. So those are all pretty big deals. The only other couple of things that I managed to get done is that Eric asked me to, well, I asked Eric, and Eric and I kind of got on the same page and realized that us putting all of the images for our NFTs in IPFS was probably a bad idea, since we're likely to change the art and improve it over time and things like that. So we now store all of our images on S3, and we have the ability to change the artwork. And that's super helpful. There's other benefits to it as well, but that's the biggest part of it. So with that, I'm going to hand it over to Eric.
Fantastic. Yeah, so the first thing you're going to notice right after login is the blockchain access screen. I'm going to show you some videos here in a minute. But let me kind of tell you where we are with all this. We're now on base mainnet. We got everything working this week. So we now support ERC 1155 tokens, along with the 721s and the ERC 20 token for later on. But what that means is that we have our first live NFTs that we're going to keep in this format. And what you'll have is the event pass is something that you'll see here. We've been working on the access badge system, which is basically 3 different access passes. And you will be able to get some of those later on, but the event pass is what you'll look for today.
We're just testing the blockchain. Like that's the whole point today, is we just want to make sure that we're not breaking anything.
Yep. And I made some improvements from the last build for Wallet Connect to make connection easier. Jason mentioned S3. It was really important because now we're storing our metadata and our NFT images in a place where we can manage them and update them if necessary. So yeah, Jason, why don't you go ahead and show some of the demo progress.
Cool.
This is showing that we are now on the base chain. Notice down here it says connect wallet to base. And these are the NFTs that provide access into the game. Here you have descriptions of what each of these does. This is the event pass that you will need to be able to get into the blockchain test. It can be purchased for Bodhi. And at this price, it's about a $5 transaction based on the price of Bodhi. Let me show you how this works. It's very similar to the last demo where you connect and mint an event pass. And so I'm going to go ahead and click on the connect button here using Wallet Connect and MetaMask. Go ahead and tell MetaMask to connect on my mobile phone. I'm now connected. I can still mouse over these, and if I hit play now, it says blockchain test required to play. So I need this blockchain test pass to be able to get in. For Friday's build, we are interactive with Bodhi, so you'll be purchasing with Bodhi. But for this demo, I'm going to purchase with a USDC coin. So go ahead and hit that. And on my phone, it's asking me to sign a message, so I have to do that first. And then the transaction starts. And on the mobile phone, it's asking me about a spending cap. I go ahead and approve the spending cap. And then after the spending cap comes through, I go ahead and confirm that I want to make this purchase. It goes off to the server. The server does the actual transaction, mints it for you, and returns it to you. And here in just a second, after the item is mentioned on the server, we now have that event pass added to your wallet and you're able to play. Now I can go ahead and hit play now here, and now I'm in the game. Here you can see I've reconnected to the game, and it's showing me that the event pass is still there, and I'm automatically connected. So at this point, I can hit play now, and it's asking me to open the wallet application to sign a message. I'll go ahead and sign that, and away we go. The game should basically take me right in now.
Very cool. Eric, what you were telling us a thing you were typing into ChatGPT earlier today. Tell that story.
Oh, wow. Yeah. So I asked it, I said, hey, I know, I was curious how good it was. I was looking into a new feature that I wanted to find out more information about. And I asked it a general question, how hard is it to do something? And it actually told me. I was like, wow, that's a pretty good answer. Then I said, okay, is it BSing me? I said, let me ask it a really broad question. I said, okay, I know nothing about blockchain. I want contracts in my game. How much work is it? And it spit out this 4-page document and told me it was going to take me 4.5 months. I was blown away. All the detail, every single thing I went through to get all this stuff working. Awesome. Oh, also wanted to mention the demo that you just saw. There are some improvements that I made this week to help with letting you know where you are in the process. So you're going to see some pop-ups now instead of just nothing that you saw here. So you'll see a pop-up that says, "Hey, I'm buying it. I'm waiting for a connection. I've purchased it. You're good to go." So you'll see some of that when you play today.
Yeah, and everybody should know all these videos are taken over the last couple of months. It's not all stuff that we're like taking, like this is what you're going to see today. Everything hopefully has gotten better since then. So like some of this is just work in progress, and we know that it all needs work. This is all first pass. So awesome. Yeah, Jonah, do you want to go?
Sure, I can go ahead and go next. So what I've been working on is what we've been calling our material library. So our material library is designed so that when you have, say the shirt I'm wearing, the awesome shirt that you should definitely go and buy. We've got this gray color right here, or we've got this, lighter gray here that's got like an image on it. A lot of times when, you're trying to render that, that's going to be 2 separate materials. And so it'll go in and it'll draw it one by one and it'll work fine. However, when you have, however many hundreds of things and everyone's wearing equipment that's made out of all these different pieces, like I've got the silver on my headphones and then the black on the inside and all those different things for all these different people, that starts to add up fast. And so what it was that we're building for that is this material library says, okay, you are all one single material now. You are all just one mesh, and that is all you have to worry about. And so what we're able to do now is all that thing, say, you have a sword that's got all these intricate little parts. It's got, a gem you've crafted on the handle, and you've made it out of a very specific wood you had to go and get. And, you've found this specific metal works best for, the cross guard, and this one works better for the blade. All those things can all be done all in just one draw call. And so that allows us to be able to just render things ridiculously fast when they're using this. And so this means that, we've started to build up a bit of a pipeline and, some tools for our testing. And so, but the most important thing is the fact that that's all just going to be the one draw call in. So that can get really quick, really, really easily. And so after that, I bounced over to start working on some of the lighting for the zone that you'll get to see shortly. And we were toying around with some things, and, some things were going great. And we got some post-process effects going and a lot prettier lighting. And so I took a first swing at it before it got touched up later. But as you'll see pretty soon, I think it looks pretty great.
It sure does. And the material library stuff we just started rolling out earlier today. It did its job. It actually, funny enough, detected that there were some models that weren't set up right and promptly crashed the client. So that's what it's supposed to do. But yeah, that's literally what its job is to make sure that we're doing our job properly. So good work there. Angel, what's up?
Gotta make sure I mute myself. All right. Yeah, so man, like since the last milestone, I think I've been busy with making sure that the character moves pretty smoothly. And then kind of switched gears and left like gameplay, character, like land, and went more into like back end, like end-to-end feature land. So making sure that all the cool stuff you could see in your client, but other people couldn't see, now everyone could see. So like when you hold a weapon and when you equip stuff, making sure everybody could see that happening for you as well. So yeah, like I think one of the first things I knocked out right after the last milestone was making sure that we could move around smoothly and no more stop motion animation looking characters. I think we got a video of that. So why don't we cue that up?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that that luckily didn't take a ton of time. I think that it was just making sure that we understood how messages were coming in and making sure we timed their interpolation properly. For those that may not know what interpolation is, it's just smoothing from one point to another by a 0 to 1 value, and then just doing that every single time we get a package for, hey, your skeleton looks like this now. Doing that really fast and really smoothly. So assuming that your connection is fairly latency free, you should see a pretty smooth experience. Yeah, right after that, then I think the next order of business was making sure that we could tie in some stats, so like your health and stamina. So when you're running around, you see stamina start to drain, and then that affects your health depending on how far you drained your stamina. And that was all according to Catherine's game design. And I believe we also have a video of that.
All right, quick update on stats. As you can see, there's a stamina bar at the bottom left, and it is driven by the server. So the client is telling it what actions the player is doing, like swinging a sword, subtracting the stamina, and updating the client with the new stamina value. So you can see here, as I swing the sword, you can see my stamina start to slowly go down with every swing of the sword. And if I just sit here and rest, it'll gradually go up over time. It's probably too slow to tell, but it is going up. And if I sprint, it'll gradually go down. If I walk, it won't go down, but it also won't go up. It'll kind of just stay where it's at. Stats update. We now have health implemented. And right now, health is only depleted by low stamina. And low stamina is defined as being at or below 30% of the maximum value. And then severe stamina would be at or below 10% of the maximum value. Since we're dealing with stamina out of 100 here, it'll be really easy to tell, since once we hit 30, we'll be at that 30% and 10% and so on. So let's go ahead and cross that threshold so you can see health deplete. So now that I am below 30, I'm in the yellow, and my health is going down at a particular rate. If I deplete my health down to 10 or below, then my health will also deplete faster. So let's trigger that. I'm going to run around a bit more and hit the red soon here. There we go, and you see my health is going down way faster. Now if I recover past 10, then the rate will decrease. But I got a long way to go before I get to 30 so that the health bleed stops. So let's just stop the game, come back in and see if those stats are still the same, which would indicate that. Okay, and we picked up where we left off. And my stats are still going down because I am in the yellow right now.
You know, it's actually kind of funny, like just listening to myself talk. I'm like, I must have taken those videos late in the day because like my voice is probably like running out of steam at that point. I'm just like ready to hit the sack at some point. Yeah, but yeah, that's how stats is working now. I mean, that last segment was pretty much how it's implemented now. Pro tip, you know, just don't sprint. That way you never use your stamina, you know, otherwise you're going to starve and run out of energy. And what else should we move on to next? Go ahead.
Minor detail, like and you guys may be asking, like, why does sprinting matter? Why does stamina matter? It's a big part of it is the design is such that we don't want the client to ever be told, no, you can't do that. But what we want to say is, well, if you do that, it's going to hurt you. So you can do whatever you want. It's just you can push yourself beyond your physical means and it's going to hurt. So we can let you run. You can sprint. You can do whatever you want, but you're going to pay for it. And the way you pay for it's with health. So you may run yourself right to death. That's the Mooncast way.
Yeah, totally. And if you just ate a sandwich, you know, and you start sprinting, you might just, you know, regurgitate that sandwich. So that's also going to be in the simulation. So what else? Then after that, I think it was time to move on to being able to wear your equipment in a networked way, right? So that means that if you find a backpack and you're standing next to your buddies and you put on your backpack, they're going to see you put on your backpack. And so you can start peacocking at that point, you know, like, oh, check out my sword, check out this cool, you know, backpack that my friend made, all that kind of stuff. And yeah, I think that particular portion of development was rather challenging because every time like I made progress, a new fold or a new wrinkle would get unfolded. Be like, oh, well, now you got to worry about this. Well, what happens if you have a backpack on it? It's full of stuff, and then you take it off. Where does that stuff go? Does it just fall on the floor? Well, in terms of the game, I guess it'll just go back in your inventory. But yeah, just considering all the little crevices and bugs that could, you know, come up from this was its own little challenge. But I think in the end, we came up with something that is pretty decent. I think we have some video of some early stuff. Just word of advice or word of warning, it's got programmer art. So what you see is not what's in the game. Just.
All right, so we are going to go through the process of acquiring inventory, equipping it, and unequipping it. So here's a backpack and a belt on the floor. So I'll mouse over it. And there it is, showing up on my inventory. And then we're going to grab some weapons. Alright, so I don't know how readable this is, but I have the list of slots available to me to equip stuff to right now. So right now I have a limited number of slots. So if I add this backpack to my back, I'll have more slots available. So when I try to equip the belt, you see I have additional slots that the backpack provided available for me to choose from, but the belt only belongs in the belt slot. So I'll put that on there, and there's my backpack and belt assigned to my body. So now the axe and the sword can go in the proper slots. So I believe they can go in slot tools right now, so I'll go ahead and put the axe in the backpack's tool slot, and then the short sword will go on the belt's tool slot. That's further down here. We now have a working equipment slot UI. As you can see, I have 3 slots available right now because I don't have any of my inventory equipped. I have a backpack and a belt and some weapons. So let's go ahead and start putting some stuff on. So let's put a belt on first. Images are pending, but if I click on this, then I should have new belt slots available. And we can see I have a belt on now. And if I put a backpack on, now I have my backpack and my belt on, and we have the appropriate slots available. Now let's go ahead and assign a sword to this. I'm just going to take a pick here. Looks like I put the axe in my belt slot, and I'm going to put a sword in the backpack slot. I'm going to exchange some slots here. I switch slots, and I'm going to claim the other item too, and now we have them both here. And so what happens if I take out a weapon and then take the backpack off? Let's find out. Oh, lost all my stuff. Not really, but I'll just have to re-equip it to make it come back. I could take the belt off and put the backpack back on, and let's put the axe back on, and let's take it out and swing it. So there we go. Working equipment.
Yeah. It is sad to say that the Swax has gone away. It might come back at some point as a special edition weapon, but for now, I think the slots and the way the equipment works has fixed that problem. So, yeah, and let's see. So right after that, then it was time to make things that you can hit other than the dummies. So the perfect target was trees. So I think we had Glorimar make some trees for us that were in different states of damage. And then we put those damage states together with some backend data. And then so you could take your weapons now and go find a tree and then just chop it down. And so other people could see you chopping it down too. So then you guys could team up on a tree and show them who's boss. Check it out.
Okay, that's pretty awesome. All right, so let's recap that real quick. Fully dynamic slots that you can equip different kinds of items that give you different sorts of slots. That's pretty friggin' amazing. So let's give an example of why. Why would you care about that? Well, when you have a fishing pole, the fishing pole probably has a bait slot, and you can put bait on your fishing pole. So that's kind of important. You might eventually find a fishing pole that has 2 hooks. You might need to have 2 different bait slots. That's pretty cool. We can also do things like your head comes with a helmet slot. And so you can put a helmet on your head, but not if you're a unicorn. Unicorns can't wear helmets. It doesn't make sense, right? So we can also have helmets that can have a mask slot. So you can wear a helmet and then you can find a mask and put that in front. So there's all this kind of amazing depth that we can get out of that feature, which is why we built it. Plus the fact that we needed to be able to bait your hook. So it's all going to work out. And then when you look at having harvesting fully networked at this point, that's pretty amazing because now the client and the server are all talking the same language, and being able to harvest stuff that other people can see means that you sometimes don't want to run over to a tree because you can already see that someone's chopping it down. So that's pretty amazing.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so now at some point, it'll be on you guys to go out there and find some trees to chop down. They're out there, so you just got to go explore and find them. And I think that kind of brings it up to what I've most recently put into the game, and I hope you guys enjoy.
Yeah. So I think the build that we're putting out today, I'm not sure if all that stuff is in there or not. We were having some weird technical difficulties. So if it's in there, you'll find it. If it's not in there, you won't find it until maybe tomorrow or Monday. But just so you know. Glorymar, you did some amazing stuff. You want to talk about it?
Hey, sure. So from the 3D art side, now we have a naked body. Like that, that's the body that goes under your clothes and your armor. We have the version for the women too. And then, okay, there's a lot of tops. Three many three variation. The trees went through multiple style passes, like looking for that tree look that goes well with our character and our world environment. And then we have crafting progression explorations. We use a sword to explore like how a sword evolve while you level up your crafting mastery. And then we have some buildings. And
Do you want me to show the video?
yeah, sure.
Okay, here we go. Buckle in. This is great. That's some pretty stuff.
Really is.
Great job on that. Yeah, there's a lot of really cool looking stuff that's gone into the game, and I think everybody's going to be pretty excited when they see the next stuff, which is from Maxi.
Hey, yeah. So I guess in the last couple of months, I took off my animator hat for a bit and try some new stuff, which was exciting. I love to learn new things and gain a new respect for level designers for sure. So yeah, I've been through a lot of asset packs, just hunting down some assets that can get us started and have the feel of our game. And then yeah, I've learned a lot of stuff too. Post-processing effects, shader graphs, a bunch of new stuff there. It was really cool. Just that's all I have to say. and then just putting all that stuff together into decent, I guess, enough level to hopefully you guys can find it exciting and fun with what we have. And I think that the most challenging thing is the amount of iteration that you have to go through, and then thinking about the lore and how to express that in the level design, because without having any type of cinematics or anything like that, you want to try to tell a story or somewhat of a lore for the players to experience. There's some videos, I think, on the assets test that I put together some stuff and started testing things around, and just many iterations on that.
Yeah, here's the first video. This is before it's even a level. It's just a room with a bunch of stuff that Maxie's putting around. Here you go. That looks pretty good. I think it looks better now, though.
Oh yeah.
You want to show what it looks like? I think this is a relatively short clip, but there's no audio, so go ahead and talk over a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. So here you're gonna see some images. Just like I said, testing some things to make it pretty. You're gonna see different iterations and different camera angles here. But there's so many things that you can tweak and just make the world a little prettier, I guess. Make it look cool.
Maxie did such a good job on the grass too. He built that whole shader. Looks fantastic.
Yeah, thanks, man. It's a lot more to go. Get in there.
There's always so much more to go. This is all first pass stuff, guys. So I mean, if you see something you don't like, don't assume that it's finished. But we are testing out all the art style and figuring out what things fit, what things don't fit, and basically like finding ways to integrate and move as quickly as we possibly can. So moving on to this is what we've already done. Now, what happens next? Well, Eric and I start working on the game. All this time, Eric and I have not been working on the game. We've been working on everything else. So
That's right.
I'm
so
excited.
excited. I'm excited to get in there, finally do some stuff that people are going to see and get excited about. Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, 4.5 months worth of. I mean, ChatGPT almost nailed it. It's like, it's almost 5 months worth of effort to get blockchain stuff in, and now we're at a really good place. And all the other infrastructure stuff that I've been working on it's all the preliminary stuff, but we have it now. So, the rest of it is how do we build a great game as quickly as we can? And there's a lot of good stuff coming. I don't even know how much we want to go over. I mean, we're already at an hour. Let's pick one thing. So we could talk about how buildings work. We could talk about how crafting works. We could talk about how mastery works. We could talk about the spawning system. Should we talk about the spawning system? Let's talk about the spawning system. Catherine, you think?
Let's do it.
Let's chat about that.
All right.
Let me pull up that image because you drew this. You spent all this time drawing this beautiful image. There we go. Bam.
Yes.
Okay, walk us through what that means.
All right. There's a lot of colors, but basically the spawner works on a queue system. I'm trying to find my notes. Basically, you roll a die, and that die will mostly land in commons, sometimes be uncommon, sometimes be rare, sometimes be super rare. And then that goes through a loot table of, hey, what's on the common list? If you get a common ticket, we're going to call that a ticket. And then it'll pick that thing. And then if you get a goblin, it's going to look at what can a goblin spawn with. And then it'll decide, okay, your goblin's going to spawn with some armor and an amulet and look really cool. And then it'll throw that onto the queue for the zone. And eventually, that'll move up to the first position, and then the zone will fund it. So it works.
What does that mean? What does it mean that the zone is going to fund it, though?
So everything we do is gold backed. So everything we spawn, from the trees to the goblins to the giant dragons, which you won't find just yet, is going to cost us money. It's going to cost us coin to spawn. Gold backing is a way to stop the problem of a runaway economy, where players keep mining the infinite. You know, I've played Destiny. I actually haven't played WoW, but I have played a lot of MMOs, and you go to the spawning sites, and then you just extract and extract and extract, and that means everything's kind of worthless. And it's fun, and it works for those games, but we aim to have everything worth something, which means we have to spend money to put it in the world, so if we don't have money, we can't put it in the world. But the more people are active in the zone, the more coins we have to spend to fuel the zone. So you might walk into a zone and it'll be beautifully, beautifully filled. And then people will run in, grab everything, and if they leave the zone and never come back, then that zone will take a lot longer to come back to life. But we also want rarity to matter. So you might have seen the pricing there. It was only on screen for a short amount of time, but the pricing of the goblin, some of that comes from its rarity, and it is only common. But it's always a bummer when you find something super rare and it's actually worthless. So in our spawning, rarity is factored into the cost of spawning an item. So rare always means valuable. Not always to people, but you can always sell it back to us, and we'll give you some value for it. And then the last thing is we want dynamic spawning. So we don't want to hand place every experience. We definitely don't want a stale farmable game, like I had already mentioned with WoW and other MMOs. We want there to be, you're going to find fish in the water, but you're not going to be able to find pike in this one spot. They're going to be pike in water that is proper for a pike to spawn in. So sometimes there'll be rare stuff, sometimes they'll just be common, but it'll all be stuff that makes sense for the area. So that's pretty much how spawners work.
That's fascinating. So gold backing means that when we make a thing, we're actually putting coins in a wallet somewhere. So there's actually value backing those things. And the intent is that the coin that we put there is effectively correlated with gameplay. And the more rare it is, the more coins it is. And the great thing about that is that you can kind of depend on the commonness or the uncommonness or the rarity of it being worth kind of a similar amount. So a rare thing is always going to be worth what a rare thing is. That's the floor value. That's not the actual value, because you had to go out and find it. You had to go out and find it, and it's not always easy to find. You may have to go someplace that's difficult and find the rare thing. And some of those rare things are you had to kill a monster to get that rare thing because it's only like a body part or something like that. So there's a lot of interesting ideas that we've dabbled in, and we're pulling the good ideas from various different games. I don't know of any game that's doing this. I don't know anybody who's tried to do this, because no one's really tried to marry Web 2 and Web 3 properly. I don't think that that's ever been done. And we're trying something that's really hard to do. And I think that this is a grand experiment. So I'm fascinated. I hope that this works out. And yeah, we're gonna tackle this and see if we can make this happen, because I hate it when I get a really cool thing in a game and everyone's like, oh yeah, that was really great 3 seasons ago, but everyone else has them already. That doesn't mean it's rare. That just means it was rare last year. Cool. What else should we talk about? What we have? We have a milestone jam. You guys want to hear some music and see really fast-paced video?
Oh yeah.
All right. Buckle in. Here we go.
Started with a simple dream.
A world we've never seen. Lines of code and caffeine nights, turning polygons into digital life. It's loading, it's growing. Every bite is worth the fight. It's going to turn out alright. It's alive, alive, alive. We're building a blockchain game you've never seen. When you play, I think you'll see what I mean. Through sleepless nights, our dedication shows. We're laying down the code. From night till morning glows. Every challenge is a stepping stone. We endure. Come on, let's break the mold. Make something pure. Every click, every quest we design. A world where you and I can truly shine. It's alive, alive, alive. We're building a blockchain game you've never seen. When you play, I think you'll see what I mean. Soon there'll be a fishing game. It's just begun. With rods and reels, we'll cast beneath the sun. New adventures at every shore. We're so glad. Every click, every quest we design. A world where you and I can truly shine. It's alive, alive, alive. Although it's nowhere near done, it should be just enough to show. It's alive, alive, alive.
I've heard that song so many times, and I still like it. So this has been quite a journey. The end of 2024 is coming up, and it's time for a little bit of a reality check. I don't want to be a downer or anything, because this is so exciting and we kicked so much ass. But what I do want to point out is that this is a lot of progress, and what we've done so far is astonishing. And this is a very small team, and the amount of time we've put into this and the amount of effort we put into this is, I think, beyond normal. I have been asked by a lot of people, how do we help? How do we help get Mooncast to keep going forward? And I'll tell you, if you want to see this continue into next year, we need our Discord to grow. We need more people to see these videos. We need to raise funding. This has been great, and we'll continue. And we have one more big milestone left this year. We're going to probably keep making some builds here and there, but we've got definitely one more milestone, and then we're through the Bodhi money. And I think it's important. It's really important that I don't sell JPEGs and I don't sell promises. I want to sell things that have real value. And Mooncast is designed to be a sustainable game. It's not a Ponzi scheme. It's set up specifically so people can get in and play for a long period of time and really enjoy it and build things with their friends. And I believe very strongly that the right next step for us is to do a friends and family raise where we can continue developing on Mooncast for the next 6 months. And if you're really serious about helping us do that, DM me and I'll make sure that you're invited to that pitch meeting. I think we have a pretty compelling start at a good project. And I mean, I'm thrilled that we've gotten to do this. I think that what happens next is really up to the community. And yeah, so thanks for joining us, and go download the game. If the website's still broken, I'll fix it. But we've got a client for you. Please test out the blockchain, break our shit, because it's gonna be broke. I know it will be. We'll fix it. And report any issues you run into in the Mooncast Discord. I almost said something. Yeah, and keep an eye out. Well, I don't want to say it. because it's not in the game yet. But there's a fish sword. All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in. We'll talk to you all next time.
Thanks, guys. Awesome.
There, guys.